The… the moment we utter the word devotion, the moment we utter the word devotion, the first thought that comes into most minds is, devoted to what? Who are you devoted to? What are you devoted to? Not even what, you generally who. I want you to understand what is devotion. The word devotion comes from the root word dissolution. If you are devoted to something, if you are truly devoted to something, then who you are, the person of who you are, will dissolve into that object of devotion. So should my devotion be to you, little to distribute it between Linga Bhairavi and Dhyana Linga? It's not like that. Tell me, has anybody in any field of life, have they done anything significant if they were not devoted to what they were doing? It doesn't matter what area of life. Only when somebody shows a certain sense of devotion to what they're doing, they get to do something of some significance. Otherwise, they're just frivolous nonsense. Even a thief, if he has to be successful, if he has to become a great thief, he must be devoted to it, otherwise it won't happen. He risks his life, isn't it? Yes? He is in some way devoted to it. So what is the nature of activity that you have chosen, it doesn't matter. If it has to raise beyond mundane, it takes devotion. It takes devotion means who you are should merge with what you're doing. Otherwise, your activity, whatever it may be, whatever your destination, it will not find any great significance, it will be just mundane nonsense. So, if you get devoted to your work, it takes time. If you get devoted to a project, it takes time. But if you get devoted to a certain source of energy, it does not take time, but it empowers you. It leaves your life free, hugely empowered. So whatever you're referring to as Dhyana Linga or Devi, these are certain types of energy forms. Today science is telling you everything is an energy form. This is one kind of energy form, you're another kind of energy form, Devi is another kind of energy form, Dhyana Linga is another kind of energy form. Even a grain of sand is a certain kind of energy form. The rock that sits there is a certain kind of energy form. So depending upon what is it that one is seeking, they devote themselves to that kind of energy form, so that they're empowered in that direction. So based on this, in India, we created thousands of forms, consecrated forms. If you're seeking success, you go to this temple. If you have fear, goes to this temple. You're seeking love, you go to this temple. You're seeking liberation, you go to that temple. Like this, they're fixed. Now this is a double deal. To be devoted itself does something beautiful to you because see the English expression, you heard falling in love? No, I didn't ask you if you did fall. I just asked, you heard of the term. So, the term is significant, the phrase is significant, falling in love. You don't rise in love, you don't fly in love, you don't walk in love, you don't stand in love, you fall in love. Because something of who you are has to go. Something of what you think I am should fall. Only then there is a love affair. There is a certain beauty to love because something of you falls. You're willing to destroy a bit of yourself for the sake of the other. A bit. Which makes it beautiful. But you can always recover from love after marriage. Love is a wonderful thing, but the problem is you can recover. Devotion is similar thing, but you cannot recover. Because devotion is that which is devoid of yourself. Who you are is absent in devotion. That's why it's beautiful. So you know what's the problem. Right now, who you think you are is the only problem, isn't it? You think I'm this and this doesn't fit into that. That is the only problem with you, isn't it? If who you are becomes fluid, you know why we put you on the Ganji diet? If who you are becomes fluid, it would fit into any container. If you are made like this, you can fit into any kind of situation perfectly well. That means you're fluid. A fluid can fit into any kind of container perfectly well. If it was solid, it can go only into certain type of container. Another container, it'll struggle. Right now, that is your problem with life, isn't it? You like this, you don't like this, you can't stand this, you can't be with this, you can't be with that. I don't like this person, how can I be devoted? Where did this come? Because you're solid, not fitting into another kind of container. Devotion is not about somebody. It is just… somebody is just a device for you to dissolve yourself. Because this is the only place and you are the only problem. If this one problem is dissolved, there's really no other problem with your life. If you try to solve this one and that one and that one, you try to solve these problems and see, your life will get more and more complex and more entangled. Isn't it so? You just try to straighten out one of these people the way you want them to be, you will see what will happen to you. Just try one and see. Take the easiest pick. Don't choose Doris. Choose the easiest one that you think is easy. Try to straighten them out exactly the way you want them and you see what kind of trouble you will get into. Take Madhur and try. Even she'll give you hell. In the very nature of things, you cannot solve these problems. If you dissolve this problem, you will say everything is fine. Everything fine does not mean they're all perfect, they don't need to change in their life, nothing needs to happen, that's not the point. It is just that if you put the Ganji in the tumbler, it fits in perfectly well. That doesn't mean today Ganji is tasting at its best. Need not be, isn't it? But it fits in perfectly well. That's all. You fit into the life perfectly well. Once you fit in perfectly well, to the best of your ability, you can do whatever you wish to do. To the best of your ability. There is no best, best, best. There is no the best nonsense anywhere. Yes? There is no the best nonsense anywhere. To the best of your ability. The biggest crime that humanity is committing against itself right now is because they don't fit into this, they don't fit into that. Because of this, the best of their ability never finds expression. Because they're looking for that ideal stage on which they can dance one day. And that goddamn ideal stage is never going to happen to them in their life. You know, this is a regular thing, volunteers, people, full-time people, everybody coming up to me, Sadhguru, I cannot work with this person, you don't know what this person is doing. I tell them, see, this is how people are in this world. This is the kind. This is the kind you find in this world. If you think these people are not good enough, you go to heaven. People say there are ideal people out there, you go work with them. In this world, this is the kind, Arkady? This is the way they are. If you want to work in this world, you got to work with these people. If you want to work with ideal people, go to heaven. Are you ready? If you're ready, we'll send you. And if everybody is ideal, what is there for you to do? You don't seem to understand that. What is there for you to do? If everybody is perfect, there's no such thing. What you're saying is, all of them should become like you. Just sincerely look at this and see. If there was one more person like you, could you live on this planet? Fortunately, you are a unique being. It's our fortune and your fortune, but there's only one like you. So, devotion is not dependent upon something, it is you. Do you want to flow at your fullest, or do you want to be constipated in everything that you do? If you're a devotee, wherever you go, you will flow to your fullest. The best possible you will do. Otherwise you're constipated, wherever you go, oh, she is not okay, so I won't do this, he is not okay, I won't do this. This is a constipated life. You know, if you're constipated, you'll stink from the top of your head. Sahasrar, which is supposed to open up as a lotus as a 1,000-petal lotus and give out fragrance, will smell like shit. Because if you don't let it go from where it has to go, it'll raise to your head. People's mental condition and their bowel movement are very directly connected, do you know this? No? Or at least do you know people's mental condition and their bowel movement? The other way around also it's connected. If people are in a certain level of mental disruption, they'll have irritable bowels. In the United States, it's a big problem, irritable bowel syndrome. It's a syndrome, it's not an ailment. You know what that means? It is not a disease, it is a syndrome. Syndrome is caused by you. It is a certain cyclical behavior of the body. So, devotion is not a thing that you do. And now, you only asked how to use Devi and Dhyanalinga, fortunately you didn't include me in that. You're talking about devotion and you're talking about how to use them. These two things don't go together. Devotion and how to use something doesn't go together. A devotee is never thinking of how to use something, he's only thinking of how to use himself up. If you use Devi, you may get some benefit. But if you use yourself up, your life will be fantastic. Yes or no? Only if this individual person completely uses himself up, that is when he has found full expression to who he is, isn't it? You're saving yourself. Where will you take it anyway? Save yourself, all right. Where will you take it? Where will you save yourself and take yourself? That is the reason why we went on telling you, Shiva is a destroyer. No point you saving it, he'll burn it up. So better you burn it up. Should your life… if you are a candle, people are saying he's burning the… somebody told me, you're burning your candle from both the ends. Both the ends? I'm willing to burn it everywhere, in between also. So do you want an unburnt candle at the end of your life? Do you want an unburnt candle, well-preserved, unburnt candle at the end of your life? Or do you want a candle which just burnt as quickly as possible, throwing out as much light as possible? So, the world is right now being driven by economics. No nation, slowly no human being has any… There was a time when nations grouped up in terms of ideologies that they believe in, whatever nonsensical stuff, but they believed in some ideology. So in the world they got grouped up as capitalists, as communists, as non-alignment movement, India and a group of countries came under non-aligned… what? Non-aligned movement. So, this time when I was in India, somebody came and asked me, the press, what do you think about the non-aligned movement, we have given it up now? I said, non-aligned movement means nobody is your friend in the world. So you're paying the price for it now, you better align yourself with somebody. You took a position of being non-aligned and nobody is your friend. And you're not going to exist as a nation without having friends, unless you want to become a hermit. Only if you want to become a hermit, you don't need friends. If you want to live in the world, you need friends, isn't it? Otherwise you're not going to live well for sure. So, they had ideologies. This became a big issue in India recently. One of the ministers, he got fired now for something else. He said, they asked him to comment about the first Prime Minister of India. Usually the first Prime Minister of any nation or a first President of any nation is held godlike.